Respected Principal of St. Teresa's Institute of Education, coordinators of seminar, and my dear friends. I would like to present a paper entitled Exploring the Relationship Between Social-relational Consciousness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Altruism of Student Teachers. I am Dr. Shehraz, Assistant Professor of AKC College of Education. My research paper is co-authored by Dr. Saramma Matthew, Associate Professor, AKC College of Education. I would like to share an incident happened in Kerala recently. An airplane overshot the runway and fell into a valley 30 feet below. The help from the airport would have almost taken an hour to reach the valley, but the people in the valley summoned all their resources and, despite the COVID threat, ensured that most of the injured were taken to the hospitals before official help could arrive. Why do people engage in such behavior when their lives could be in danger? We know that human beings are mostly motivated by self-interest. But for altruist behavior, the motivation is others' interest. Most teachers choose teaching profession because they are motivated by altruistic factors. Teachers with altruism can carry out their function smoothly as it aligns well with the purpose of their profession. Therefore, in the present research, altruist behaviors of the student teachers had been explored with respect to some of the factors. So let's see the conceptual definitions of altruism. According to Comte, altruism is living for others. Altruism is all of the values, preferences, and behaviors that are oriented to meet the needs of the others rather than their own desires and needs. So, this is the definition put forward by Piliavin and Chang. There are many factors that influence the altruist behaviors. Perhaps an understanding of fellow beings' feelings, one's awareness of spiritual responsibilities could facilitate individuals' altruist behaviors. An understanding of fellow beings' feelings is known as social-relational consciousness, and one's awareness of spiritual responsibilities are known as spiritual consciousness. So, in the present research, the variables taken for the research purpose is altruism, social relational consciousness, and spiritual consciousness. So, the statement of the problem for the research paper is exploring the relationships between social relational consciousness, spiritual consciousness, and altruism of student teachers. Let me discuss with you all some of the technical aspects of the research paper. Let's see the operational definitions of the variables. Social relational consciousness. It refers to the ability of being conscious of human relationship and the connections with them. Spiritual consciousness. It refers to the ability to share fundamental consciousness with other species and sense their sufferings. Altruism, that is the main dependent variable of the research. It refers to the willingness of an individual to risk his or her own lives for the sake of others. The aim of the study was to explore the relationships between social relational consciousness, spiritual consciousness, and altruism of student teachers. Objectives of the study were to study the social relational consciousness, spiritual consciousness, and altruism of student teachers. To study the relationship between social relational consciousness, spiritual consciousness, and altruism of student teachers. Hypothesis of the study was there is no relationship between social relational consciousness, spiritual consciousness, and altruism of student teachers. Design of the study. Methodology of the study. Descriptive method of the correlational type was used as methodology. Sample. Sample comprised of 120 student teachers of B.Ed colleges in Greater Mumbai, drawn by stratified random sampling. Tools of the study were social, relational, and spiritual consciousness inventory by Bresdow and Mihai, altruism scale prepared by researchers. This is the tabulated representation of statistical analysis. R values were found to be significant between the variables of the study. So the major findings of the study was there found a significant positive and direct relationship between social relational consciousness, spiritual consciousness, and altruism of student teachers. So this implies that more social relational consciousness and spiritual consciousness, higher will be the altruism of student teachers. Let me discuss with you all the educational implications of this research finding. This figure shows a proposed model for developing altruism among student teachers. This model will definitely help the teacher educators to develop or strengthen the social relationship of student teachers with the help of altruism, social relational consciousness, and spiritual consciousness. Now, once individual experience and practice altruism, there is more scope for developing and refining it. So, let me discuss with you all how did our institution translate this theory into practice. We took up community service in an area which is most socially backward, the red light area of Mumbai. When the college thought of taking up this area for community service, there was a lot of apprehension. Many student teachers expressed the concern that their parents wouldn't approve this area for a community service. This issue was resolved by inviting a social worker from the NGO to explain the whole situation to the students. The social worker narrated the heart-wrenching tales of young girls who were cheated, bought, and sold into the sex trade. This opened the eyes of the student teachers as they got an insight into how the flesh trade operated in the red light area. The lecture and discussion also helped the student teachers to allay their fears, and they were open to teach the children of commercially exploited sex workers. We executed community work in two stages. In the first stage, student teachers created a rapport with the children. For this purpose, the children from the red light area who were with the NGO were brought to the college, and a whole day fun fair program was organized. This interaction changed the student teachers' attitude towards the program completely. And in the second stage, the student teachers were sent to the centers where the children were housed and taught them through different methodology of teaching. They mainly used playway method. Anyway, this practice helps student teachers to connect with the children no matter what their background and where they came from. To conclude, I would like to say that success has nothing to do with what you gain in life or accomplish for yourself. It's what you do for others. So, friends, altruism is an important value to be nurtured among student teachers. As in future, they will face variety of students coming with diverse social, psychological, physical, and economic problems. So these are the references I have used for writing this research paper. Thank you.